You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, and we are back with Rolex rankings number 25, Sophia Popov. Sophia is competing in her third KPMG Women's PGA Championship and her first since 2018. This is her fifth start of the 2020 season after earning her and has a breakthrough win at the AIG Women's Open several weeks ago. Sophia, what have the last 6-7 weeks been like for you since that blustery day at Troon? Your life just changed.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been probably the coolest 5 weeks of my life. You know, just for me, obviously, it was an unexpected win too, and I got to enjoy that with my family and my friends, and so it's been a little bit of a whirlwind with all the media and everything. But it's obviously been awesome, and I wouldn't want to change it for anything. So, it gave me a big confidence boost going into Portland and ShopRite also. So I feel like I've been playing some solid golf since then, and it's nice to see that pay off now.
You definitely have been playing some solid golf. Thinking back to Troon, how much inspiration do you take from that? I mean, yes, you want to win and you need to move on at some point, but how much inspiration do you take back from that week at Troon to move ahead as you move into the rest of this year?
Yeah, a win is a win. I felt like, even when I won mini tour events before, it gives you a lot of confidence going into the next few weeks. And for me, that win gave me all the confidence in the world. It kind of proved to me that I knew my game. I always knew my game was there. It was just a matter of being able to play well during the right weeks and keeping my card for most parts, and then I finally had that breakthrough win, and ever since it's just been kind of nice because I can kind of relax a little bit on the course. I think it's changed my attitude even more, just being a little bit more calm on the golf course and letting it come to me instead of pushing for it or having to play super aggressive. So it's just been really working in my favor, and that's another part that I'm really enjoying since that win.
So now we're at your next major, playing as a major champion. Well, you get announced as major champion, Sophia Popov, and it's here at Aronimink, which it's chilly out, kind of like it was at Troon. But what are your thoughts on this golf course? How much of it have you seen so far?
Yeah, I actually saw all 18 today for the first time, and it was super chilly this morning. I needed everything, mittens, beanie. I was like, I'm right back at Troon, it felt pretty good to me, but except for the fact that I was hitting like 3 hybrids into every green, and I was like, oh, this is a little bit exhausting, so I hope they might put up some tee boxes. But overall, I think it's an amazing golf course. It sets up well, I think, for my game too. I hit it decently long, so I think that plays in my favor, and some good greens, huge greens. I feel like you can have about 300 different kinds of putts on there. So you try to practice around them and see whether you can get any kind of lie you can possibly get in a tournament, but you're always going to be somewhere else. So it was nice. I mean, it's just an amazing shape, and I'm really excited about going out there on Thursday.
How do you prep for a course like this? I mean, that's one of the fun things about this event is you go to a different place every year, some place you've never been. What's your practice of how do you practice for a place you've never been?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you go by the yardage book. You just kind of check, where do I want to hit this tee shot? Pick some targets. Pretty much can hit driver on almost every hole here, which is great. And then you kind of have to, like I said, you play by the yardage book, so you see some of the plateaus on the greens, and you try to play to a couple of different ones and see how the ball reacts. And then, on the back nine, I just played a game against myself / with my caddy. And I played by score and just tried to see, is it scoreable? What can you get out of the course? And so that's kind of been a nice preparation.
We'll remind everyone on Zoom, if you have any questions, to please raise your hand in the profile there, and we'll call on you. But we'll start here with some questions from Jeff Babineau.
Sophia, I believe you went home after your victory at Troon. Is that right? How long does it take to really sink in? And
I feel like it's never going to quite sink in. Eventually it will, but not this year. This is my birthday present, my Christmas present, everything to myself. So, and I also, from talking to a lot of different players, men's and women's side, they all said to me, you know what, sit back, like kind of relax. I know you want to get out there and play, but really enjoy it. Like you're not going to get that time again come next year. It's going to be crazy, and you're going to want to just, you're looking forward to every next tournament, and you forget about what happened in the past, and you really want to just enjoy it and take some time and spend it with your family. And I took that time. I took 3 weeks. I celebrated with my family, with my friends, and I'm ready to celebrate a little bit more towards the end of the year. But it hasn't quite sunk in yet.
All right. We'll go to Alex.
Okay, so you said it was 5 weeks, the best 5 weeks of your life.
Yeah. Is that how long it was ago? Whatever it was since the tournament.
So tell me what you did outside of playing in tournament golf. What did you do?
I went home to Germany first, saw some of my family, some of my friends there, and I honestly didn't play a lot of golf that week. Then I went back to Arizona to my immediate family and celebrated with my brothers. They were over the moon. They've been kind of waiting for this moment for a long time, and they were probably more proud than anyone else was. So I got to spend the whole week with my nieces and my family, and just played a little bit of golf, got back into it as far as my seeing my trainer, my physio and everything. And so I was ready to go. And that third week off, I started practicing full time again and getting back into things. But those 2 weeks kind of went by fast because it felt like you were kind of celebrating with everyone. So it all kind of, merged into one big celebration over 2 weeks. And I wish it was a little bit longer, to be honest. But I was ready to get going again. I saw everyone play at the A&A, and I was really bummed. And I was like, now I'm ready. I want to go. So going to Portland was really nice. I was very excited about that.
As the Women's British Open champion, what do you do? What gets you excited if it's not on the golf course?
A lot of things. I mean, I'm into anything sports, so I was glad sports on TV was on again. So I was watching a little bit of that, and kind of planning a couple trips for Christmas. I love skiing, so that's going to be fun. But I like a lot of things. I like hiking, I like running, I like biking, road biking. So it's just I did everything during those 2 weeks, kind of everything that I can't do normally when I'm on tour. So. Yeah, I don't know. Just hanging out with my family. I love that. That's the most fun I have.
Beth Ann?
Yeah, a big check came with that win. Did you splurge on anything, or do you have any plans to splurge?
I know it's been like 5 weeks, and you're like, I'm sure you've spent it on something. You know what? I bought myself a Trackman. That was a dream of mine, and I couldn't really afford it before. And I was like, I really want one. And I always had to go see my coach to get some numbers, and now I finally have one. So I'm really excited about that. And all the other stuff, I kind of let it come to me. I'm not typically someone who just goes out. I'm not a big shopper, so I think it's. I don't even know. I have to see. There are some bigger things, some bigger projects I have in mind, and so like I said, I just like let it come to me, and eventually, I'm a kind of a German people like save all their money, and then one day they just kind of they pass it on to their kids or something. So it's probably what's going to end up happening. Save for college funds and everything.
All right, we'll go to Zephyr.
What would you say is the biggest difference in your life since winning the British, and then also how many congratulatory text messages would you say you got?
The biggest thing that's changed since the British, for me as a player or just as a person in general,
Both.
I think the biggest thing has just been my confidence. It's funny, I'm a pretty confident person off the golf course, and then I'm on the golf course, and it seems like it's not like I'm not, I know what I'm capable of, but it was just kind of, believing in the fact that I can go out and shoot low, and no matter on what day. And I think that changed a lot, that I go out and I feel more like a sense of belonging, and I can just go out and I can shoot low any day and be in the mix at any tournament now. So I think that's changed a lot for me. And then, what was the second question?
How many text messages?
How many text messages? Oh. WhatsApp and messages and Facebook all together. It was crazy. I think the morning after, I had close to 415 just text messages, of which I still have 90 to reply to. So if you're in the 90, I'm sorry. But I'm slowly getting back to everyone. Probably like a good 600 total. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, obviously a lot of people that I don't talk to all the time, and then a lot of people I do talk to all the time. So it was a lot, for sure.
I definitely don't know that many people.
I
So
know.
consider
I'm
yourself
like,
lucky.
I'm 100%. I don't know all those people. So it's.
Oh, we'll open it up here to Zoom. We're going to start with Doug Ferguson. Doug, you can unmute.
Well, I guess you didn't get my text then.
Or I didn't get back to you.
Two questions for you, Sophia. You were, I think, 304 in the world when you won. There's some extenuating circumstances, obviously, with health and whatnot. But we've also had Miriam Lee win at number 94, and Hannah was 114 when she won this last year. So my question is, should anyone, given the state of women's golf, should anyone be surprised when that happens?
You know, I mean, I think it's always a surprise because you just don't see it coming. But, you know, it kind of speaks for the depth of talent out there. I think that, you know, on any given week, a girl that's ranked 200, 300 can play her best golf and win. And I think it's like that on the, you know, I wouldn't say it's not like that on the men's tour. I think every now and then you have a breakout winner, you have a surprise winner that no one was talking about previously. And so, yeah, I mean, it's always a surprise. It's just kind of knowing that any girl out here this week can win because we're all capable of playing some really good golf. So, you know, I don't know. Of course, the surprise factor is always going to be there, but I'm not surprised about any of the girls winning this week. So.
And then kind of as a follow-up to that, there was a time 20 years ago when I don't want to throw a bunch of numbers at you, but there was like 18 majors played and only one first-time major winner in that whole group. I mean, it was Annika and Julia and Seri, Kari, the whole lot of it. Do you think we'll ever see an era like that again?
You never know. I mean, I just think it's similar to the men's game where we have a lot of good players out there now. You know, the top 10 and the world ranking for the women, you know, everyone is up there every week. And I think it just, again, speaks to the depth of the field and how good everyone is now, and everyone's capable of winning. That's why not the same person wins every week, but you've still got your favorites every week, and I think that's not going to change. It's just that you know, there are so many good players out there, so you just never know. And I think that's just the golf game today in general is like that. I think it's the same as Tiger Woods that won everything. You hardly find a guy out there now winning the same amount that he's won. So you know, we'll see. Maybe there will be, but I honestly don't think so. I think more girls are going to win multiple events.
Thanks, Sophia. What kind of truck, by the way?
What kind of what?
Truck.
Truck?
What did you buy? What kind of truck did you buy?
I didn't.
Yeah, she bought a Trackman.
A Trackman.
Trackman.
I would not buy a truck. That truck would swallow me whole.
Trackman truck.
Trackman truck.
I'm going to blame it on the computer.
Exactly.
Thanks, Doug. We're going to go down the row again here. We'll start again with Jeff.
I'm sure you replay the final day at Troon here and there and think about it. When you get on the other side of that, is it about the shots that you physically hit, or is it more about how mentally you handled the challenge of the day?
I think a little bit of both. You know, I love to look back and I look at certain shots that I hit, and you know, it's just great for me mentally to go back and look at those and remind myself of how well I was playing under pressure. And I think mentally it was a huge breakthrough for myself. I think I've always battled the game between the ears more than anything else my whole golf career. And I think so for me that was the most important thing. But I still had to execute. And so I think I look back a lot and I look at certain shots and I go, you know, I think it's a lot of self-pride in that moment that I was aggressive and I didn't back off of any of the shots and I played, I went for most of them and went right at the pin and stuff like that. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I think obviously proud of the execution just as much as the mental part.
Alex?
Beth Ann asked you about the money. How does that hit your account in the LPGA Tour, and how often did you go back to look to confirm that it actually was the right amount?
I mean, it just hits my bank account like every week.
On
Just
a Monday?
goes straight. No, not on a Monday. Somewhere I don't even know, end of the week sometime. I never even pay attention. At some point it's there and I'm like, oh yes, I can go shop, which I don't like though. But I don't know. I mean, it came towards the end of the week and of course you look at it and you're going, man, it just feels like something illegal is happening on your account. But and it still does. I still look on it and I go, oh my, like. But I'm kind of a very pragmatic person. Like immediately, like I would put half of it away, and I don't look at it all the time. To be honest, I just I just keep doing my taxes, do all my stuff that I've been doing the same way I did before, and of course it's with a bigger amount now. So I think the more often I look at it, the more I get used to it. But it's definitely still weird. But I think after a while you get used to it, and of course there's been more coming in after. So I think that's just something that hopefully at some point I can just get used to and don't have to keep looking at it, or I try to ignore it, to be honest.
And then one other thing, I don't know if you have an agent. I'm assuming you do.
Yes.
Okay. So has there been a lot more interest in Sophie since the win from outside sources?
Yeah, for sure. Would be weird if it wasn't that way. So definitely. But yeah, I let my agent handle that. So, Derek, you hear that? No. So yeah, like everything goes through my agency. So for most parts, of course, there's stuff coming in, but again, they want me to play golf. I want myself to play golf. I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. So I let them handle everything.
Beth Ann?
Yeah, so a lot of players are kind of overwhelmed by media and attention after a big win like that. But you actually were mic'd up last week. Are you kind of like, is this fueling you, attention?
I think, well, in some ways, maybe. I just, I've always been the kind of person I like anything that I did media related. I really enjoy it. Most of the time, to be honest, I was doing internships or I was working behind the camera. I wasn't even in front of it. But I like working with the media. So I think for me, it's something that comes naturally. So I wasn't really worried about being mic'd up at all because I knew really all I had to do is just be myself out there, and maybe throw in a couple of funny comments here and there. I was like trying to make up for my group. I was like, you're probably talking more than you usually do, but I really enjoy it. And so I said to them, I said it's no problem to me. I don't get annoyed by the mic or anything hanging out. So I don't know if it fuels me. I just enjoy it. So so far.
What were your internships, out of curiosity?
I just did some with German sports channels, and one of them was commentating the Solheim Cup for the Solheim Cup for German TV. So I did a couple weeks with them, and a few things with our golf club in Germany when I was younger, like 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade. I did some stuff, and then in college too. I was a communication major, so just kind of. And then I wrote some blogs. I worked for a history department in school where I was interviewing people, so just like little things here and there. I like doing that, and eventually that's something I'm hoping to get into anyways. So
Cool. Thanks.
Zephyr, we'll wrap up with you.
At the British, I know you said your swing thought was just to swing aggressively. I was wondering if that's still a swing thought you lean on, or if there's something new that you've been employing lately.
Definitely still swinging aggressively, but of course, since the British, I've looked at some just technical things too in my swing. I obviously don't want to change a lot. Trying not to change anything, to be honest. But I've just got the same thing I work on, which is lowering my ball flight a little bit, which I was trying to do for the British anyways, and it just helps my swing in general to have more solid contact, more consistent, and hit the ball flight that I like to see. And I still work on exactly those same things. It's not very technical. It's just more of a swing thought or like a movement thought.
Yeah, so how do you flight it down more?
Just for me, it's just keeping the hands in front.
Okay.
Of, I just tried to, I'm someone who gets the hands, I get a little bit scoopy, but scoopy is not the right word probably because it's not really scoopy, but I try to keep the hands up front and just shut the face a little bit more and at impact, and that's how I try and use my body a little bit. All that together, just
Gotcha.
get it a little bit lower.
Thank you.
We are going to come back here to Alex for one more.
Yeah.
Sorry, you mentioned the ANA and how you were bummed about not being there, and then obviously about the fact that you don't get a 5-year and all that stuff. Were you surprised at the amount of people that seemed to be in support of you when all that came out?
Definitely. It was, honestly, I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, or I didn't before the British. And then after the British, I was like, the whole thing was blowing up More than I honestly wanted it to. It wasn't my intention at all. I just kind of took it the way it is because midway through season, I know there's nothing that's going to change about that, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, I just want to go out and play. That's something that we're going to deal with towards the end of the season. But it was really nice to see that pretty much everyone was on my side, and I had a lot of support on our tour and on the men's tour. And I think players in general, I think they could put themselves in my position, and I think they felt for me a little bit in that respect. So, but again, it's something that I don't think will be changed right now, and so we'll see towards the end of the season whether there's anything that can be done about it, or I just have to go out and play good golf. That's not going to change.
Well, real quick before we finish, Troon, where you won, was, of course, with a great history on the men's side. Now we're here at Aronimink, and we're playing so many tournaments with KPMG and PGA of America that have such a great tradition in the men's game. How does it feel to you and the rest of the tour as we come to places like here at Atlanta Athletic Club and Olympia Fields a few years ago with such a rich men's tradition as we continue to promote and grow the women's game? What does that mean?
It means a lot. I'm someone who's watched a lot of golf my whole life, especially the men's side, just because when I was in Germany, they wouldn't show the women. So I would watch all the majors, and I would see tournaments happening on these courses all the time. And I think it's amazing since KPMG has stepped in. The kind of courses they get us on is incredible. We were just out here this morning. We were talking about it, and I said, I love it. It's so pure. It's a championship golf course. It's long. It's very difficult. And I think that's what a lot of us want. We want those kind of golf courses. And it's just really nice to see because, you can compare the games side by side. Same golf course and maybe not the same conditions, and you're not playing the same time of year maybe, but in general, it's awesome. Like I love it, and I'm just super excited for the next few years to come also.
Awesome. We're excited to have you out here. Good luck this week.
Thank you.